Busy week for current events. Welcome to the Jase Medical Threat and Risk Assessment for Friday, April 10th, 2026. My name is Aaron Asay. I am the Executive Director of Jase Response. I am a military veteran of terrorism and disaster response, and I'm an emergency medicine physician assistant. I'm also an educator on preparedness and personal security, and my goal is to give you a brief weekly summary of the changing risks facing you and your family, and the small but powerful activities you can do to get ready for the future. Since last week, the war in Iran ramped up, then down, with the largest combat search and rescue ever made by U.S. Special Forces to recover a downed pilot, followed by the tenuous but still holding ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran as of barely 2 days ago. If this remains in place, everyone's worst fear may not be realized as the fighting winds down, as Iranian governance begins to trickle down to the individual units, still disregarding their leadership orders. We may see some stability once again in that region, and hopefully a better future for the average citizen of those nations, and really for the world in general. That remains to be seen, but we can all be hopeful. Regardless of what happens, the threat of a nuclear Iran appears to be lessened, but the threat of homeland terrorism still remains high, both from foreign actors within the country and domestic extremists looking to cause chaos and anarchy. It's not time to let your guard down, folks, and my advice from previous weeks still remains in place. Watch for both physical and cyber threats to communities, as well as disrupting activities to infrastructure like your power grids, your other utilities like water, your healthcare services, and especially our financial institutions. These threats remain as high as they have ever been. Well, it looks like a few ships of oil are transiting the Strait of Hormuz once again here in the U.S. Doesn't matter too much because our oil doesn't come from there, but it does indirectly affect our prices, so expect gas prices to fluctuate and the costs of goods to increase still. What it can affect is the cost of overseas supplies, like things we get from Asia. The thing that tops my list is medicine. We are heavily dependent on medicine from Asia, so now is the time to stock up on emergency and chronic medications for not just that rainy day, but also in case disaster strikes and until the U.S. finally decides to be independent and start making our own medicine once again. For now, you can just go to jase.com and order what you need. Other home front news, you may want to buy toilet paper, as the supplier of nearly half of the nation's teepee went up in flames in Ontario, California. Why somebody would want to burn a teepee factory is beyond me, but if you want to cause chaos, COVID already taught us that disrupting the supply of bum wiping material is a sure way to do it. And it's also the reason I now own a bidet. This week's activity, buy an extra case of each of the things you use on a daily basis at home. TP is first on the list, followed by paper towel rolls, soap, laundry detergent, floor and bathroom cleaners, basic plain unscented household bleach. In fact, buy a few of these because you can also disinfect any emergency water supplies. Also, toothpaste, antibacterial hand sanitizer, and really anything else that sits in a closet or under your sink. Go take a peek down there and see what you have. If you're out, buy a few. If not, just grab an extra or two. All right, that's this week's threat brief. Stay alert, practice situational awareness, teach your children to watch for danger, and most of all, pray for peace.